Now moving on to our third section, that is the fractures of the distal humerus. In this section, we'll be going through the x-rays and treatment, fractures of the neck of the radius, subluxation of the radial head as well. Now, fracture separation of the distal humerus physis. This is one of the very rare entities, but it's very important and pertinent to note that it's usually missed on the x-rays. Clinical features include the child is in pain, elbow is markedly swollen, and history may be deceptively uninformative. And you have to very clearly evaluate this x-ray because your apophysis over here would actually not be very much visible on the x-ray. And you may only see a very small soft tissue shadow which may be displaced up superiorly or laterally. But actually this, as this is a cartilaginous part, and this may have actually avulsion of the or separation of this humeral physis may have occurred actually, which can be later on disastrous for the child. So if you see x-rays, sometimes they're very clearly visible, sometimes this whole apophysis maybe you just see a very small tissue over here. Otherwise, sometimes this much is very much visible. In a very young child in whom the bony outlines are still unformed, x-ray may look normal, and that is why it's very important to see and manage it clearly, because you need to be very accurate with your history and examination. Epiphysis is a pea-like ossification center of the capitulum, and position is compared to the normal side, and we have, because it actually capitulum ossification actually appears at the first year of life. It's usually 1 to 2 years, so we can easily compare it to the other side so that we know whether the epiphysis has been formed or not, or whether the epiphysis has been displaced or not as well. Now coming to the medial displacement of either the capitulum ossification center or the proximal radius ulna is suspicious, and we have to be on the lookout. And sometimes if we are still doubtful, we can go for MRI to see whether cartilage has been displaced or not. Coming to the treatment, if you see this diagram, you see the angulation is not normal. There is something wrong, but you're not sure because x-ray is looking almost normal. On this appears to be medial epiphysis, and if this is the capitulum, should be over here. If it's displaced all the way up this means there is definitely something is wrong. And if you see it closely, this is probably, instead of being the distal humerus, it appears the capitulum displaced from this area till over here. And this is how deceptive sometimes is, but you have to be very carefully evaluate the x-rays, especially in the case of distal humeral physal separations. If diagnosis is uncertain, go for ultrasound or arthrography. And if arthrography is usually not done always, but ultrasound can easily be done, or even we can go for MRI as well. And MRI is very useful investigation, especially in the case of cartilaginous involvement. In very young children, the UE reduction requires a general anesthesia, and they have to be reduced under the GA. And treatment is simple. Fracture is undisplaced, elbow merely splintered for 3 weeks. If it has displaced, it has to be fixed, and fracture needs to fixation with the smooth percutaneous wires. In children, we always use smooth percutaneous K wires. Why? Because we do not want to damage the physis, which has already been at risk most of the time. And wires can be removed in 3 weeks, and slab can be continued for 3 more weeks. That is, the total rehabilitation time is around 3 to 6 weeks. Now coming to the fracture neck of radius. Neck of radius can also get damaged, and usually again the most common injury is the fall on the outstretched hand. Usually the forces the elbow into valgus. It pushes the radial head against the capitulum, leading to children, especially the bone fractures through the neck of the radius. In adults, the injury is more likely to fracture the radial head. If you see this, the head is not that much formed. So what happens is, when this radial head and neck collides with the capitulum, this results in children the neck of fracture, while in the case of adults, mostly the head is well formed. So there is the most likely the radial head fracture which occurs along with the, instead of neck of the radius being involved. Now clinical features, again the similar complaints of pain around the elbow. There may be especially tenderness for the radial head, and the main pain would be during the forearm pronation and supination. That is where most of the pain occurs during this movement of the arm. And if you see the x-rays, you can clearly see the fracture line, especially it's transverse and situated immediately distal to the physis. If you see this x-ray, you can appreciate this is the line, On the lateral X-ray, you can also appreciate the fracture line going through the neck as well. True separation of the epiphysis with the triangular fragment of the shaft is a proximal fragment may be not happening, but you have to be on the lookout for that. And usually this is actually sometimes the distal third is tilted anteriorly or distally most of the time. Now coming to if you see this X-ray, you can appreciate a fracture line over here which is more easily visible than the neck is actually fractured on the lateral view. Upper end of the ulna may also be fractured, and then in that case it becomes a Montague fracture, but you have to very carefully evaluate as well. Maybe a posterior dislocation of the elbow may be as well present, but depending upon how high energy the trauma was. In younger patient, the radial head ossification center may not be visible. Usually it happens to be around for around 3 to 5 years of age, and that is why you have to be sometimes in a very young child ossification center may be present, not present as well. Suspicion should be there, especially if the pain is there on the pronation and supination. Now coming to the treatment, considering potential for remodeling, arm should be this is most of the time the undisplaced fractures treated with cuff and sling. You keep it conservative for 3 to 4 weeks and allow it to heal over the period of time. Exercises can commence after a week, and usually angulation of greater than 30 require reduction. Now that is important. There is a criteria. If this neck of fracture is displaced so much that there is more than 30 degree of angulation, that would require either the percutaneous reduction or closed reduction, or open reduction may have to be attempted if closed reduction fails. Percutaneous wire is used, which can be used to fix the head. Head of the radius is never excited in children, even not in adults. Even we try to save the head of the radius as much as possible. Open reduction should be avoided, but sometimes if closed reduction is not possible, that the head is displaced and angulated so much that we cannot reduce it closely, then we may have to go for open reduction internal fixation along with the head, and that is always with the smooth K wires. Now another term which is associated with the radial head is called as subluxation of the radial head, also called as pulled elbow, in which the children, when are lifted up from when the parents hold them from their wrists, lift them up, this is actually when the maximum traction is occurring at the elbow joint, and this usually results in the subluxation of the annular ligament. The radial head subluxates out of the annular ligament, and which may be resulting in a elbow may be injured by pulling on the arm, and usually with the forearm pronated. This is where the maximum problem occurs. This results in subluxation of the annular ligament that slips up over the head of the radius into the radiocapitular joint. This is also sometimes called as subluxation of the radial head as well. But important point in the treatment is actually, especially is common in the children between 2 to 3 years of age. It's kind of a painful dangling arm, forearm is held pronated and extended, and X-rays usually appears totally normal. That is where the pulled elbow, the mechanism is actually, you can easily achieve a cure even. That is that you ask the child first to supinate the arm, then once you supinated it and then you flex it, then actually the radial head as it is subluxed, it reduces back into the ligament, and the child is pain-free and is moving the arm and pronating and supinating as well as flexing, extending the elbow. So the dramatic cure can be achieved by a simple maneuver. Now coming to the fractures of Olecranon in children. It's a very rarely entity, especially in the case of Olecranon. It may be due to the direct blow on the tip of the flexed elbow, although the most children fall the outside hand, but sometimes if they fall on the flexed elbow, this can result in a fracture of the Olecranon. Most are undisplaced. They may be the mostly they are treated by conservative measures, and they are kept in the splint for 3 to 4 weeks and allowed to heal. After 3 to 4 weeks, the range of motion exercises at the elbow joint can be started. If displaced and more than they can be reduced and held back by using closed reduction internal fixation with the smooth K wires. In this section, we briefly covered few entities of the problems which could happen to the children around the elbow. We covered what is fracture, humeral physis separation, which is a very rare entity, but has to be. Its important point is that you must be on the lookout for it, because the X-rays would appear either normal or would show a very slight variation of the displacement of the capitulum. The next requirement was the radial head and radial neck fractures. And mostly these fractures are treated conservatively until unless there is increase more than 30 degree of angulation at the radial neck fractures. Then even the Olecranon fractures are mainly treated conservatively until unless they're displaced, and even if they're displaced, they can be treated with close reduction and percutaneous pinning. Most of the fractures in children are treated conservatively, but some can be treated if they need surgery. Mostly they're done by percutaneous smooth pins so that physis can be spared. Thank you very much. Keep watching sqadia.com.